Good evening, coders. Welcome to our webinar. I am TAP Class and I am your co-lead instructor. My name is Geeta and I am with my team here, Miss Marsha and Miss Ida. Welcome to everybody, and we are all so thrilled to have you all in this class today. And yes, we are going to have a very exciting class. I can't wait. Um, it's going to be full of, engaging videos and games and so many things that we are going to do. And before we go and dive into that, let's take a moment to say hi to everybody in the chat. Yes, hello, everyone. Good evening to you. If you're in other parts of the country or anywhere in the world, good morning, good afternoon. And I'm so happy to see you all in the chat. And I can't wait to see you giving your names of your places that you're coming from in this webinar. And it's so much fun, right? Like you are from different parts, but we all get together here for one particular like aim that we have, a goal we have to learn medical terminology. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much. And yes, it is about time for me to call my team here, and I'm going to invite Miss Marsha and Miss Ida to say hello and say a few words to you before we begin this class. And remember, do not forget to put anything in the chat. There's question box that you have. And our team here is in the back answering to all your questions if you have any. And we will be addressing everything that you need to know. Yes, Miss Marsha, hello to you. Good evening. Thank you for joining.
Good evening, Ms. Geeta. Good evening, Ida. And good evening, coders. Morning, evening, wherever you are. And welcome again to another Wednesday of OnTap.
Thank you so much, Miss Ida. How are you doing today? Good evening. Thank you for joining.
Good evening, Miss Geeta and Miss Marsha, and good evening, coders. Welcome for another wonderful day, and let's learn medical terminology.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Miss Ida. And I think somebody is having a problem. Is that audio, video? What is the problem? Can you just come back, like log out and come back into the webinar just to make sure that you can hear the audio correctly? Okay, good. One of them is saying good. And let me know if anybody else is having any problem with audio, video. Just make sure that you're clicked on the audio of the computer to listen to. Yes. And yes, we are about to start. Everybody, thank you very much for coming into this webinar, and I can't wait to start. Let me begin by showing you what I'm going to do today. So yes, it is going to be our medical terminology every Wednesdays, 8 to 10 p.m. And it's going to be an interactive peer-to-peer with me, myself, Miss Geeta, and my team here, Miss Ida, Miss Marsha. And it is a roll calling time, yes, but remember, we are going to have lots of Quizlets and some light review of the medical terminology. And I already did roll calling for you guys. I called and I said hi to everyone. If you want to say hi to me, you can go ahead and do that in the chat. And yes, we are going to do today respiratory system. It's going to be week 4. The reason because we missed one class in the middle, and then in the very beginning we had missed 1 week for doing a chapter from the last session. So we actually basically missed 2 weeks of topics. So we're going to cover that today, and today's topic is going to be respiratory system as well as cardiovascular system. So we are going to cover 2 topics in one class. You're not going to miss anything. We're going to try to crunch everything in one, and we'll try our best to do it. And let me know in the chat how many of you are going to tell me, what do you think is going to be our calling today, or our response calling? What is going to be? Somebody said, all set, you bet. What else can you think of? What else do you think? Ready to roll? Ready to rock? Yes. Macaroni and cheese? Okay, let's see what it is. Okay, it is macaroni and cheese. Everybody freeze. Yes, that's what's going to be our calling. And we all know the general flow of class. I'm not going to go reading this because we have to cover 2 chapters. So you all know your webinar already. What is more important for you is your audio, whether it is connected to computer audio or not. Make sure that, and also remember where you're going to type your questions or your answers. That is the box there, and make sure that you make use of it. And also when you are practicing your Quizlet word sets, this is where you're going to go. If you have the link, good. If you don't have it, please capture this on the screen that you're seeing, and you're going to be learning the word sets from the month of August, or the August session. Okay, and we are in August now, and today is going to be respiratory system and cardiovascular system. And we are going to do some Kahoots. Definitely you need your phone. For those of you who love to do the Kahoots on phone, then yes, that's the place for you. Those who want to play in the chat, you can definitely do that as well. So lots of Kahoot and Quizlet today. And we all know the parts of medical terms, prefix, root word, and the suffix. Prefix is the one that comes before. Root word is someone that stands alone, has some meaning. He or she is a bachelor or a bachelorette. I call it like as if it's a person. And suffix is something that comes towards the end of the word, and it also adds meaning. So let's look at this particular word that we have, and the word is bronchiogram. And what is bronchiogram? We know what bronchiogram is, right? And what is broncho? Let's like cut it down into 3 components. One is the root word broncho, meaning bronchus. O is a vowel that combines. And what's the third part of it? Gram, which is the suffix, which means an X-ray, a picture. Okay, so bronchogram is the X-ray picture of the bronchus. So we are about to start a wonderful video of our respiratory system. So give me one moment. Yes, let's look at this video. Well, that was one brief video of the respiratory system. It also showed us how air goes from our nose to the bronchioles. And the next that we are going to learn is what is the major functions of the respiratory system. As we know that it supplies the blood with oxygen, which is then delivered to all the body's so many trillions of cells, and it removes the carbon dioxide from the blood and it expels it from the body. So that's the function of the respiratory system. That's the like overall brief what I could tell you right now. But why do we need oxygen? Oxygen, it's an essential gas in cellular respiration, and this process generates energy in the mitochondria of all the cells. And the primary waste product of this cellular action is our carbon dioxide. As you can see there, oxygen and the carbon dioxide. This is the carbon dioxide, this is the oxygen. And this is together we are actually using in our daily life. As you see that the air we breathe, what percentage is our oxygen? It's only 21% is the oxygen, the rest is nitrogen. So we actually extract a little oxygen from the air that we have for our life. The respiratory system organs, what we have, the major is our mouth or the nose and the larynx. And when air enters in your mouth or nose, the mucus is the one that actually aids in humidifying and warming the air before it enters our lungs. Look at that. And it passes over your larynx or voice box, which has vocal folds able to generate sound. And the larynx also protects the trachea. And if there is a question for you, when you sneeze, uh, particles that fly from your nose and mouth are at nearly 100 miles per hour. Look at that. What is the physiologic reason why one would need to sneeze? And look, it goes at a speed of 100 miles per hour. So the picture is something that really I can imagine all those particles coming out of our mouth. So what is the reason why one would need to sneeze? Can anybody in the chat tell? I'm looking at the yes to somebody said to expel irritants. Yes, allergy, dust. Absolutely, absolutely. That is what the reason is. That's the fair, what do you call, layman term response to this question as to why we need to sneeze. It is actually a response that is generated in our body for the irritation that we feel in our nose. Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for answering. And yes, it's a reflex response, absolutely what you said there in the chat. Sneezing or sternutation occurs when the respiratory epithelium that lines the nose is irritated. And I'm still amazed by the speed of the sneezing, the particles that come out of our mouth. And the respiratory system organs, the pharynx and the epiglottis. Look at the pharynx here, and the epiglottis is the one here. In the back of the throat, the place where the nasal cavity and the oral cavity meet is called the pharynx. Yes, both the cavities where they meet at the throat area is the pharynx. And when you eat, there is a flap which actually switches, and it's made out of connective tissue called the epiglottis. It prevents the food from entering the trachea. Yes, when we sneeze, sorry, when we breathe and when we eat, this flap is the one that actually operates. Respiratory system organs, the trachea. And the trachea here is, or the windpipe is a tube actually made up of cartilage rings that branches into two bronchi. Yes, the trachea, it divides into two, which is bronchi, and it is lined with cilia and mucus, and which is designed to filter harmful particles from the air we breathe. So whatever enters through our nose and mouth, these cilia and mucus, they actually hold it from going into the lungs. And the trachea opens into two bronchi and then continues to branch into smaller and smaller tubes called bronchioles, as you can see in the picture. See this, it goes and branches more until it reaches here. And the gas exchange um, does not take place at here. It goes all the way towards the end of it where the exchange takes place, towards the last part, where the bronchioles are. And look at the bronchial histology. You can see how it is. The bronchi, how it is lined up. The bronchus or the bronchi, how it is lined up. It has the epithelium, the smooth muscle, the cartilage, the bronchial lumen, and all of this. So we don't have to really remember this. It's just, and then look at the epithelium. The clumps of hair like cilia protrude from the tops of the specialized columnar epithelial cells. And this cilia, the rhythmic movement of it, it serves to move bacteria from other particles away from alveoli and towards the throat where they are expelled or swallowed. So yeah, so these cilia really helps to move the bacteria or any particles away. And the lung tissue histology, look at the lung tissue. The alveoli are composed of single layer of squamous epithelium. And between the alveoli, you may see a thin layer of areolar connective tissue and numerous capillaries, also lined with simple squamous epithelium. Well, the picture is really and the respiratory system, we have the last part is the alveoli, right? The last one here, you see that. The bronchioles terminate in tiny sac-like structures called alveoli. So the last of the bronchioles and it ends to alveoli. The oxygen and carbon dioxide is exchanged here in the microscopic blood vessels called capillaries. So the blood vessels down there, the veins and the arterial veins and the are the arteries? Yes, I think capillaries. They exchange the oxygen and carbon dioxide. It happens at a very smaller level, which we don't even realize how small it is. And here, airways into the lungs. You see the picture, the lungs, the trachea, the bronchi, the bronchus, and the bronchioles, and all the way to the alveoli. And look at that. The deoxygenated blood comes in, the oxygenated blood goes out. So the exchange happens between the veins and the arteries. So it's about time to do a shout out to everybody. How did you find the little show of the respiratory system? Yes, every okay. So what do we have today for a calling? What do we have for a calling today? Yes, everybody freeze. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, it's about time we'll do a small Quizlet. And I'm going to invite Miss Ida to come and do a Quizlet for us. Give me a moment. Let me not go far ahead. Miss Ida, let me know if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Uh-huh. Okay, here you go. Let me show my screen. And let's do this.
Okay. Pertaining to algae, labra.
I'm sorry about that. I'm really
Okay.
I was moving really fast on it. I'm so sorry. I'm just coming out of it. Okay, come out. Give me a moment here. I don't know why it's just doing that. moment.
I think you can.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I think I got it. Give me a moment here. Let me freeze this. Give me a second. I think I messed it up. Yes, here you go. Yeah.
All right. Pertaining to 1, L, 2, Algia, 3, Lobar, 4, Tommy.
And let me check
Okay,
what
coders.
everybody's saying. The first one. Let's go with first.
Yes. Inflammation of 1, Tommy, 2, ill, 3, itis, and alveolitis.
I
Mhm.
see a whole lot are saying 3. Let's go with 3. Great job.
Study of array, logi, pexi, stomy.
There's a sweeping 2 over there.
Disease of spiropathy, itis, logi.
We're getting a good practice. Everybody's saying Patty. Yes, good job on that.
Surgical repair, reconstruction, stomy, graphy, plasty, plagia.
I see a whole lot of us saying 3. Let's do the 3.
Excessive discharge flow, metri, rhea, dynia, raja.
Excessive discharge or flow. We can get confused between 2 and 4, but I see some are saying 2, some are saying 4.
Okay,
I'm
so
confused too. What do you think we should take, Miss Ida? Should we go with 2 or 4?
I think it's it's 4.
Okay, let's go with 4. Okay, let's go with 4. Oh no, that was
Sorry, guys.
it's all right. Now we know.
All right, technique of viewing: scopy, algia, scope, stomy. This one we know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going between 1 and 3, so this is another one.
Yeah,
I would go with 1 because it's a technique, so I would go with OP. OP, yes.
yeah. Ex okay, excessive discharge flow. Graph, graph, rhea, plagia, and metri.
Yes, Quizlet gave us another chance. What is excessive discharge
Yay.
flow? Yeah, I can see everyone saying 2, and now we know. Good job, everyone. Thank you very much, Miss Ida. That was great. And
You're
remember,
welcome.
excessive flow or discharge is RIA, not regia. So that's our regia. What is regia, by the way? Anybody can tell me what regia is?
Is it
Isn't that
also
crashing?
Can anybody tell me in the chat what? Yeah, abnormal flow condition. Somebody said. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not pain though. Yeah, it's not pain. Excessive. Yeah, it is excessive bleeding as well. Excessive flow, AGI is. But yeah, that is a difference between Regia and Ria. There's a difference between. Yeah, it is kind of confusing. Regia is like excessive. It's like heavy discharge or abnormal uh, way of flowing is Regia. Ria is actually a flow. Ria is just a flow. So Regia would be something abnormal you would consider, and Ria is just a flow. So I think that would be, there's a fine line of difference. If anybody can, yeah. Yeah. Someone said rapid flow. That's also correct. Yeah, it's very difficult to really tell what exactly is the difference, but yeah, there is a difference, absolutely. So let's do the next one. Give me a moment here. I think we are going to do some word sets here. So let me bring the screen. Miss Marsha, Miss Ida, thank you so much for doing the Quizlet. And it's
You're
time
welcome.
for Miss Marsha to do some root words for us, some word sets for us.
All right, coders, are we ready for these root words? So with the respiratory, we have rhino, which is your nose. Pharyngo is throat. Lobo, or is it lobo? Lobo, It means lobe. Bronchio means bronchus. Pulmono is lung.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, let me ask you, what is lobo or lobe means in the respiratory system? The lungs are divided into, yeah, the lungs are divided into lobes. I think the one side lung is 3 lobes and the other side lung is 2 lobes. I don't know which is the right or the left. Yeah, but it's altogether 5 lobes for the lungs. One is I think the one on the side of the heart has 2 lobes, and the one on the side of the other side is 3 lobes. So that's what the lobe is all about. Miss Marsha, go ahead.
Sure. Some more root words. Alveole means alveolus. Bronchiole is bronchiole. Ortho means straight. Costo means rib. Freno means diaphragm. So some prefixes. Brady, which means slow. Dis, which means painful or difficult. Hyper, above normal. And hypo is the opposite, below normal. And inter is between. Some more prefixes. Tachy means fast. Uni means single or one. Algesi means sense of pain. An means without. And post means after. So here are a few suffixes. Desis means fixation by surgery. And we all know what itis means, inflammation of. Dynia, condition of pain in. Meter, an instrument that measures. And metry, technique of measuring. Rhea, which we now know means excessive discharge or flow. Scopy, technique of viewing. Algia, condition of pain. Eel, pertaining to. Nia or Nia, yeah, breathing. Penia, yeah, penia. So we're going to build words using root words and suffixes. Rhino, along with scopy, is rhinoscopy, rhinoscopy, either way, rhinoscopy. It is a technique of viewing the nose. Rhino and plasty is rhinoplasty, which means surgical repair of the nose. Rhino with logy, rhinology is study of the nose. So to go over the medical term word list, rhinoscopy is technique of viewing the nose. Rhinoplasty is a surgical repair of the nose. And rhinology is study of the nose. Some more word building using root words and suffixes. Rhino, with algia, rhinalgia, condition of pain in the nose. Pharyngo, with eel, pharyngeal, pertaining to the pharynx. Rhino, along with raphy, rhinorrhaphy. It is stitching or suturing of the nose. Okay, another set of medical terms we just went over word list. Rhinalgia, condition of pain in the nose. Pharyngeal, pertaining to the pharynx. And rhinorrhaphy, stitching or suturing of the nose.
Wonderful, Miss Marsha. Thank you so much. And we learned quite a bit of words there. And yes, it's
Yes.
about time for the Kahoot. So let's get ready with your phone. Let me quickly bring the Kahoot on the screen, and you guys can start scanning, and you can start playing Kahoot on your phone. I'm going to bring the first one, and we're going to quickly play this. Let's do this. Here you go. Copy. Okay, I'll give 30 seconds for you guys to join the Kahoot game, and we'll play this. We'll have lots of fun. Let me know if anybody is having a problem joining the Kahoot. And all those who answered about the lobe, great job, everyone. Yes, right side has 3 lobes. Yeah, right side has 3 lobes, and the left side has 2 lobes. Everybody who answered, great job there. And how many of you are going to be answering in the chat for the Kahoot? Let me know that. Anybody in the chat, or everybody's going to go on the phone? Okay, one of them saying in the chat. Okay. Oh, there are a few more coming. Okay.
Yep, we got a couple more.
Okay, so let's start. Let's begin. I'm going to start counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3/4, half, 1/4. How about 1/10? 0. Okay, I hope nobody had a problem joining there. So let's start. Okay, the first one here. Let's begin. Okay, what is diaphragm? Is it epiglottis? Is it phreno? Is it tracheo? Or is it lobe-o? Those of you who are in the chat, let me know what is your answer for this. Is it epiglottis, phreno, tracheo, or lobe-o? Blue, yes, phreno means diaphragm. Great job. Most of you got it right. And the scoreboard looks like this. Royal alpaca is on the top, charming quail, balanced fox, swift dove, balanced urchin. Great job to come on the board. What is breathing now? What is another term for breathing? Is it costo, spiro, thoraco, or pluro? It's going to be very. I'm confused too now. What is the answer for this? Costo, spiro, thoraco, pluro? Some of you are saying blue. Yes, spiro. Yes, very nice, very nice. Pluro is the pleural cavity. Thoraco is the thorax region, the upper region, and costo is the ribs. So spiro is the one that's the breathing. Again, royal alpaca stayed there, stellar alpaca came up, balanced fox stayed, swift dove stayed, and the new person here on the board is snowy macaw. Great job. True or false? I love true or false. Apnea means without breathing. Is it true or false? Use your prefix here and understand whether it's true or false. Apnea means without breathing. True. Apnea means nia, pnea or nia, whatever it's called, is breathing. Apnea is means without. So I said use the prefix. If you know the prefix means without, that is what the answer is. Apnea means without breathing. So royal alpaca is going to stay for the day today. Balanced fox came up. Stellar alpaca stayed on the spot. Swift dove stayed. And the new person here on the board is magic sea lion. And we had someone with the 3 correct answers. Fixation of the pleural membranes. Fixation. What is it? Is it pleurodesis, spirometer, thoracostenosis, or pleurography? It's definitely not graphy. It's definitely not meter. It is definitely not stenosis. Okay, desis is fixation. So what is the suffix desis means? Fixation. So pleurodesis is fixation of the pleural membrane. And a lot of you got it correct. But balanced fox is on the top. Stellar alpaca on the top came next. Swift dove went up. Magic sea lion came up, and also gentle turtle came up. So the whole new set of people on the board. And we have noble seal, the highest climber, 10 places. Great job on that. The fifth question, what is removal of? Is it genic? Is it Malaysia? Is it ectomy or desis? Removal. We all know what removal is. It is the mustard, not the ketchup. Yeah, almost everyone has got that right. Balanced fox stayed, stellar alpaca stayed, swift dove stayed. In fact, everybody stayed. And fast duck is the fast highest climber, 3 places. You are going to come back. And yes, what is slow? Is it Brady, tacky, this, or pinia? Pinia or pinia? Pinia. I see, yes. This time I see most of you are doing so great in this. Very good. Brady is slow. Tacky means fast. Balanced fox, stellar alpaca. Everybody stayed except royal alpaca. Oh, royal alpaca came back. But in the 5th place, and we have 11 players, they reached the answer streak of 4. Another true or false here. What is freno means? Is it diaphragm? Is it true or false? We learned this, right? Everybody should get this right. Everyone. And I'm glad everyone got it. Freno means diaphragm, and those who did not, now you know. And here goes the scoreboard. Balanced fox, everyone stayed on the spot, and we have someone called Daring Lemur. Daring Lemur is back in the game 3 in a row. So yeah, probably it lost somewhere, came back. Condition of excessive bleeding. Now comes our excessive bleeding. Oh, I hate this question. Raphi, Regia, Plegia, Genic. Oh, we don't have Ria there. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I always get confused between the two. Condition. It's a condition. EA is a condition. We have to remember EA is a condition of excessive bleeding, and that is Regia. So we all got that right. And those who did not, Raphi means suturing. And I see the scoreboard standing strong. And we have 6 players who reached the answer streak of 4. Ninth question of the 12. Pneumothorax, which means air in the thorax. Is it true or false? Pneumo means air. Thorax means thorax. Pneumothorax means air in the thorax. Did I give the answer already? It looks like. Yeah, it is true. Pneumothorax. Pneumo means air. Pneumonia, you get pneumonia, remember? That is condition of uh, the lungs, pneumonia. Then we have the scoreboard, which is almost staying the same, except for Swift Dove came up and Royal Alpaca is slowly climbing up. And we have 4 players just hitting the answer streak of 5. The 10th question here, inflammation of the lungs due to infection. Inflammation of the lungs due to infection. Wow, this is bronchogenic pneumonia, bronchomalacia, or bronchiolactasis. Let me go that again. Bronchogenic pneumonia, bronchomalacia, or bronchiolactasis. So what is inflammation? Everybody got that 13, which is pneumonia. So pneumonia is the condition of the lungs, the infection. It's a condition of uh, the place where there is air. The thorax or the lungs is the place where the air is going in. So it's a condition there. And yes, if there's an infection, it's called pneumonia. And you all got that correct. Some of you did not. I would also not get it right if I were going to do that. Stellar alpaca came up. Sweet stay. Royal alpaca is slowly climbing. Balanced fox. And magic sea lion stayed on the spot. Gentle turtle is back in the game 3 in a row. So 11th question here. What is painful or difficult? Is it pinia, dis, hyper, or tacky? Painful or difficult? And I think it is that. I'm not giving that. I hope I'm right. Yes, this. I was thinking of this. So everybody stayed there. I don't see anybody moving. And Charming Quail is the highest climber. 3 places. That's nice. Puncture to remove fluid. We know this. Ectasis, mycosis, centesis, or ectomy. Ooh, ectasis, mycosis, centesis, or ectomy. It is not ectomy at all. Ectomy is removal. Mycosis is a condition of uh, what is mycosis? Miss Marsha, do you remember what mycosis is?
I do not. Mycosis.
Mycosis is a condition of, it's some fungus condition. Is that correct? Am I saying
Yes,
it right?
yes,
Probably.
that is
Uh,
correct.
yeah, so that's not the puncture to remove fluid. It's going to be the centesis. Yes, that's correct.
Synthesis.
Yeah. So let's look at the podium here and let's see who is in the 3rd place. Royal Alpaca, 3rd place. Great job. Swift Dove, 2nd place. And our winner for this Kahoot is our stellar person, stellar alpaca. Great job. And we have balanced fox and the other person there. Fourth and the fifth place. I do not want to forget them. Great job, everyone. You're doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So let's see what we have next to do here. One moment. Let me start a nice little video for you. Well, that was one small video. What happens if your airways is constricted? So I hope you're having a great time so far. Let me know in the chat. How are you going so far? Are you doing great? Okay, that's nice. I see a lot of you saying good. That's wonderful. And let's move a little further down into seeing more about our respiratory system. The surface area of the lung is roughly the same size as a tennis court. Oh, I did not know that. Okay, it's something. And what is a yawn? Another, just like the sneeze, what is a yawn? It occurs when a person's blood contains elevated levels of carbon dioxide. Okay. And the influx of oxygen provided by the yawn, it helps to re-establish the homeostasis. So probably it goes down with the oxygen. So it tries to like breathe in a whole lot and bring in the balance. Homeostasis is bringing the balance. And that is when our yawn occurs. And here's the respiratory system organ, the pleura. The pleura is this area you see between the lung lobe and the end of it. This space is called the pleura. Sometimes people get fluids filled in there. So pleura, or the cavity, this area is also called a cavity, is a fluid-filled double membrane that surrounds the lungs, and it effectively creates a closed space like a balloon for the lungs to operate. And the lobes of the lungs. Yeah, here we go with the lobes. Um, we have look at that. Always have to remember the right side of the person, the patient or the person in question. The right side is not my right side. So we always have to consider this as the right side and this has the, so this is the right side and this is the left side. So opposite of what yours is the thing. So if I said three lobes here and two lobes there, that's what I meant. And this is the superior lobe, the pink one is. The purple is the middle lobe, and the the smaller ones are the inferior lobes, or they are in the bottom. Superior is on the top and the middle one is in the middle. Did you know the chemicals in cigarette smoke damages the alveoli? And the one who smokes, that person's lung looks like this. And the one who is normal, that person's lung looks like this. So nobody wants to be in that place. The circulatory system and the respiratory system, so these two are interconnected. The primary vehicle for gas exchange in the red blood cells, and these cells have a protein called hemoglobin, which attaches and releases the uh, respiratory gases. So the blood, the small and what I meant to is this, the red blood cells is the one that carries the uh, oxygen all through the body. The circulatory system and the respiratory system, the blood is delivered to the lungs via the heart in a process called pulmonary circulation. So this is what you see is the pulmonary circulation. The blood from the heart, which is the purified blood, goes into the lung, and there it exchanges and brings the carbon dioxide back. The blood goes all through the body and it goes through the lungs, it exchanges and comes back to the heart. So the pulmonary circulation is the one, the oxygenated blood is then transported back to the heart and pumped to all the bodies of the tissue. So the one which comes from the lung, it goes all through the body and comes back to the heart and it goes back. So the circulation happens, and that's called the pulmonary circulation. So look, let's do this. From body, this is blue is a bad blood, the red is a good blood, okay? So from body, it goes to the heart, and the red blood goes from the heart to the blood. And again from the heart, it goes to the lung, and from the lung, it goes to the heart. And again here from the heart, it goes to the body. And from here, this blue, from body to heart. So it keeps doing that back and forth. You can take a screenshot of this if you want to. It's very interesting. What is optimal breathing pace? Respiratory system organs, the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a large muscle that separates the abdominal and thoracic cavities. And when you inhale, it moves downward and your rib cage expands. And when you exhale, it returns to its normal position and air is expelled from the lungs. Excuse me. So diaphragm is a large muscle, right? It's down below. Let me go back. I'm sorry about that. It goes down below and it expands and it contracts uh, the rib cage. And when you exhale, it returns to its normal position and air is expelled from the lungs. So did I miss anything? No. So here the pressure for negative. When the diaphragm is pulled down, the balloon inflates. And when the diaphragm is released, the balloon deflates. That's how the technique is. The diaphragm technique is when we inhale and exhale. Basically, the air fills in, diaphragm expands, and when we release, it contracts. And what is a spirometer? It is actually is where you actually measure the volume of the lung, how much you can fill the air inside your lung. Sometimes they say that we don't breathe enough. When we breathe, we have to breathe all the way, like you have to take a large volume of air into the lungs so that we completely like make use of our lung capacity. It's important to have a higher lung capacity. And factors affecting volume, several factors. Some can be controlled and some cannot. And lung volumes can be measured using the following terms. The males have larger volumes, the females have smaller volumes, taller people also have larger volumes, non-smokers and athletes. Oh yeah, athletes, people who swim, they need to have a large respiratory or lung capacity. And people also who live in the high altitudes, and the reason because the oxygen at a high altitude is less, so they probably like breathe very strong to get enough air and enough oxygen, and that's when their volumes increase. But people who are small, short, who are smoking, who are not athletic, and people living in the low altitude have a smaller volume of air. And it's about time to do a shout out. Wonderful. Let's see. Macaroni and cheese. Yes, I see that. Macaroni and cheese. I love it. I love the chat. What do you say, Miss Marsha? It's wonderful to see, right? When they
Yes, it
when they
is.
type in the I just love how they type in, and it's just wonderful. So let me quickly go over one more video for you guys. I love to show this one more animated video. Let me bring that up. Give me a moment. Let's see what I can. I have a one animated video. You probably will love it. Let me show this to you guys. It's a wonderful video. I think I show Well, that was one nice video about how the air goes in and what exchange happens in the lungs. And yes, Miss Marsha, would you like to do the root words before we move on to the next chapter? That is going to be the cardiovascular. So before we move to the next chapter, let's quickly go through this root words.
Sure. Okay, the root words here, costo means rib, phreno means diaphragm, pluro means pleura, spiro means breathing, thoraco is the thorax or thoracic cavity. Next, we have pleural, which means pleural membranes, costo, rib, lobe, lobe, phreno, diaphragm, tracheo is your trachea. Some more root words. Laryngo is your larynx. Epiglotto means epiglottis. Cyst is system. Leuco is white. And oo or oo for rectomy, oo is egg. Some prefixes. Multi means many. Uni means single or one. Algesi, sense of pain, and without. And again, post means after. Some more suffixes. Airy means pertaining to. Ectomy, removal of. Genic, pertaining to forming in, originating in. And ia means condition of, an abnormal condition. Some more suffixes. Meter, an instrument used to measure. Plasty, surgical repair of. Sclerosis, condition of hardening of. Stomy, technique of viewing. And scopy, formation of an opening. So building root words and suffixes, you have broncho along with itis is bronchitis. And bronchitis is inflammation of the lining of the bronchi. Broncho together with mycosis is bronchomycosis, condition of fungi in the bronchi. Broncho, along with gram, is bronchogram, which is an X-ray of the bronchi. So our word list, bronchitis, means inflammation of the lining of the bronchi. Bronchomycosis, excuse me, is condition of fungi in the bronchi. And bronchogram is an X-ray of the bronchi.
Thank you so much, Miss Marsha. That was great. We learned quite a bit of words there for respiratory system. And we are going to move on to the cardiovascular system. So give me a moment here. Let me bring up the cardiovascular system here. I really want to start off with a nice video for you guys, and then we'll start. Okay, so I hope you liked what we did with the respiratory system. We tried to move it real fast. So let's do this one. Give me a second here. I hope you like that brief video about the veins and the arteries. The difference between the veins and the arteries is the vein carries the bad blood or the deoxygenated blood, and the arteries carries the oxygenated blood. So what is that we're going to learn in the cardiovascular system is the nature of the blood, the human heart, the blood vessels. Yes, that's all we're going to learn. And what is the primary function of the circulatory system? As she mentioned in the video, it transports the respiratory gases, carbon dioxide, and the oxygen. It transports nutrients to and waste from all the body parts or tissues. It delivers the endocrine hormones to target organs and tissues. Yes, and it contains cells that fights pathogens, and it regulates the pH and ion concentration of the body fluids, and also helps stabilize the temperature of the body by transporting heat. What is the nature of the blood? Blood is a mixture that contains the following components. Let's look at the blood. Has the red blood cells, it has the oxygen, carbon dioxide, it has the plasma. uh, am I showing the screen or not? Okay, I think I'm not showing the screen, so give me a moment. Let me go. I am not showing the screen, I think. So yeah, let me,
No, yeah,
yeah, let me know that.
there we go.
Yeah, here we go. Sorry about that. I was about to show you. Okay, so this is our heart that's working right there in the corner. And we're going to learn what the circulatory system does to us, and the primary function, just as I mentioned, it transports the respiratory gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen. It transports the nutrients to and waste from all the body tissues. It delivers the hormones, the endocrine hormones, to target organs and tissues. It contains the cells that fights the pathogens, and it also regulates the pH and ion concentration of the body fluids, and also helps regulate the body temperature. So these are the primary function of the circulatory system. And I was here while I realized that my screen was not showing. So the blood is made up of red blood cells, and it has oxygen, carbon dioxide. It has the plasma, which is mostly water. It contains hormones, nutrients, immune cells, waste like urea, and platelets. So these are the nutrient, the components of the blood. And the red blood cells, they'll almost look like Cheerios to me, the colored Cheerios. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. What does it? Sometimes it sounds, looks like candy. Uh, yeah, donuts. Exactly. Yeah, someone said red Smartie. Yes. It gives me the reminder of some candy fruit and all that. It doesn't look like blood. So yeah, red blood cells, they are concave, as you can see, disc that do not have nuclei. They bend and fold easily, fitting through the smallest of the vessels. And their primary function is to utilize hemoglobin, a molecule specially designed to carry oxygen, and it delivers it to the body's trillions of cells while removing the carbon dioxide. So look at that. The little cells do so much. And what are the immune cells do? They're often called the white blood cells, and they contain phagocytes, which means they eat, and lymphocytes, which works together to fight pathogens such as viruses and bacteria. Platelets are not cells, but they are cell fragments which is a form of a fibrous network causing blood to clot. So whenever someone gets injured, that area of injury gets clot of blood, which helps from not having excessive flow or flow of blood out of the body. So it kind of like creates a blockage. The nature of the blood, the plasma, you can see the blood when it is settled, it looks like that. 55% of it is plasma. Some small percentage of it, less than 1%, is the white blood cells and the platelets, and 45% of it is the red blood cells. And plasma is like a straw-colored liquid. You can see that, which contains all the blood components aside from the RBCs. So most of it is plasma. Plasma makes up about the 60% of your blood and contains carbon dioxide. It contains glucose, amino acids, proteins, minerals, vitamins, hormones, and urea. Well, um, when you look at that blood, it has all these Cheerios coming out of it. I don't know why it say Cheerios. It just looks like Cheerios. And we have the white blood cells here, the plasma here, the platelets here. Am I going really fast? And yeah, this is all you see flowing through the veins. And what does blood has different types, right? We have the A, the V, the B type, the AB type, and the O type. And the Rh factor in the blood also determines additional blood types, which is the positive and the negative. So if somebody has A type blood, it can be A positive or A negative. Similarly for B, AB, and O. So these are the different types of blood. And what is the percentage of blood types? You can see that 38% of the population has O positive. About 34% has A positive. And then the fraction here, you can see 6% has A negative, 9% has B positive, 2% has about B negative, AB positive is 3%, and AB negative is 1%. So anybody wants to tell what your blood type is? Or let me know if anybody wants to tell what your blood type is. Okay, I'm O positive. I'm O positive. Yeah. I did not know my blood type almost until I was like in my late teens. Nobody cared what my blood type was until I was in late teens. I did not know my blood type, but turns out that I was O positive. So yeah, there are people in this world who don't know the blood type. It's very normal for us here, at least in my family, to not know what the blood type is. Like, I don't know. It's very important to know the blood type. Yeah, I'm O positive, which is good because majority of them have a blood type which is O positive. And it takes about a minute to make the entire trip to and from the heart. So it takes about a minute to make that trip. The average adult has about 12 to 16 pints of blood, and millions of RBCs are recycled cells every second in your spleen, which is they replace and regenerate in the red marrow. And the rarest blood type is AB negative. Yeah, we saw that percentage, right? It was about like 1%. And the most common is O positive, which is 38%, and I come in that category. RBCs live for about 120 days before they get replaced, which is important facts about the blood. And let's play Kahoot. I'm going to invite Miss Marsha on the floor here. And Miss Marsha, are you ready
Yes,
for another round of Kahoot for us?
I am. Coders, are you ready for another round of Kahoot?
Yes, and I'm really sorry for not
All
showing
right.
the screen for some time. And I'm glad I figured that out very quick. So here you go. Just about a second here, and I'm about to show my screen. And yes, copy this, scan this code, and let's get going.
Let's get to Kahooting.
Yeah, I see
Coming
everybody in the
in.
chat. Macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese.
That's right. Everybody freeze.
Everybody freeze for this Kahoot. Yeah. Forget about everything and play Kahoot. Okay. Okay, I'll give 10 seconds to everybody. Is that less? Let me know if it is less. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3/4, half, 1/4, 1/20th, 1/10th, 1. And here you go. Let's start.
All right. Cardiology. We are going to go over cardiology. Number 1, what is cardiology? Is it pertaining to the heart, study of the heart, or surgical repair of the heart? I know you guys got it. You already got it. Ology.
Suffix is very important here, yeah.
Mhm. All right, the mustard. Study of the heart. So we have prairie gecko in the number 1 spot, bowed deer, followed by snowy ferret, bronze lion, and creative zebra on the scoreboard. Number 2, pericardium. Is it pericardio, endocardio, valvulo, or rhythmo? That's kind of easy. It is red, pericardio. Everybody got that? So just a little shake up. Prairie gecko held its own in the number 1 spot. Power seal came up. Snowy ferret stayed the same. A magic elephant came up. Yellow glider came up. And up 7 places is radiant lark, the highest climber. Number 3. What is an instrument used to record the heart? Is it cardiograph, cardiomegaly, cardiopathy, or cardiology? Oh, coders, I know the coders have this one. That's pretty easy. It's definitely not. Yes, they got it. Cardiograph, red, cardiograph. Uh-oh, just a little shake up. Magic elephant is now in the number 1 spot. Snowy ferret came up. Power seal held its own spot. Radiant lark came up, and prairie gecko stayed in the same spot. And up 4 places is cute rooster. You are cute. Number 4. What is pericardiopexy? Okay, I'm gonna try that again. Pericardiopexy. Is it pexy, condition of without a normal rhythm of the heart, or is it inflammation of the inner lining of the heart? And it is surgical fixation of the pericardium of the heart. Yes, pexy, fixation. A lot of you guys got that. The majority, yes. Wow, we've got some shakeup here. Now yellow glider is in the number 1 spot. Power seal came up. Magic elephant held its position. Green lemming came up. Bronze lion came up. And 3 players hit the answer streak of 3. Very good. Disease of the heart. What is disease of the heart? Endocardium, cardiomegaly, myocardium, or cardiopathy? Disease of the heart. Disease of the heart is cardiopathy. Yes. Wow. Power Seal is now in the #1 spot. Yellow Gliders in the same spot. Magic Elephant. Everybody else held their own. 3 players came up with an answer streak of 4. Number 6, endocardium. Endocardium. Is it pericardio, cardio, myocardium, or endocardio? Oh, that's pretty easy. I'm sure every coder is going to get this one. That's kind of a giveaway. Yep.
Mhm.
Very good. Very good. Endocardial. Yellow Glider came up. Magic Elephant came up. Green Lemming came up. Power Seal held its position, and Bronze Lion held its position. And up 4 places is Bright Macaw, the highest climber. Number 7, technique of recording the electrical activity of the heart. Is that electrocardiograph, electrocardiogram, electrocardiography, or cardiograph? The technique of recording.
Technique, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it is electrocardiography. Very good, very good. Yeah, that can be kind of
Yeah, this is a
confusing.
technique. Yeah, it's a technique. So graphic, when it ends with Y, it's the technique that we are going to see. Graph is the record itself, and graphy is the technique. Yeah. So that's the difference there.
And gram is recording as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. Magic Elephant is now #1. Snowy Ferret came up. Prairie Gecko came up. Yellow Glider and Green Lemming held its positions. Fast Owl is making a comeback with 3 in a row. Number 8. Now, a recording of electrical activity of the heart. Yep, we just went over that. Is it
This is a recording.
electrocardiography? Electrocardiograph, electrocardiogram, or cardiomegaly? A recording of electrical activity of the heart. Yep, it is electrocardiogram. Mustard. Electrocardiogram. Magic Elephant remains in the #1 spot. Prairie Gecko is coming up. Power Seal came up. Snowy Ferret held its position. And Mountain Dragon came up. Prairie Gecko has the highest answer streak of 8. Number 9. What is the surgical repair of the heart? Is it cardiogram, cardioplasty, cardiology, or myocardium? We know the answer is right when the sky is blue. Cardioplasty. Plasty is surgical repair. Very good, very good. So Snowy Ferret is the only one that came up, and everyone else stayed the same. Magic Elephant has the highest answer streak of 9. Wow. Okay, number 10, true or false? Endocarditis means inflammation of the inner lining of the heart. True or false? What say ye coders? Yep, it is true. Endocarditis, inflammation is itis, inner lining, endocarditis. All right, number 3 spot on the podium, Snowy Ferret. Woohoo! Number 2, Prairie Gecko. And number 1, Kahooter, is Magic Elephant. Yay!
I love the way they shake their heads.
They're so
I
happy.
shake it too all the time. Yes. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, and the difference between electrocardiogram and electrocardiograph. Electrocardiogram is actually the picture itself is the cardiogram. Gram is a picture itself. Graph is the instrument which can capture the picture. So graph is the instrument, gram is the picture itself. So that's the difference between electrocardiogram and electrocardiograph. I just wanted to tell you that because there was one question and it was like we had a 50-50 answers from people. So I was trying to get that cleared. And it's about time to do some light review. I'll go ahead and do the light review for you guys. Let's bring the picture on the screen. Okay, so we are going to learn some root words. It is endocardio, which means endocardium. Pericardio is pericardium. Rhymo is rhythm. Valvo is valve. And vasculo is vessel. So you see that in the veins, we used to have
We're not
so-called.
seeing the screen.
Oh, I see again people saying not seeing the screen. Am I
Right.
going so? Why am I doing this all the time? I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
there we go. There it is.
Yes, I'm like caught between two slides here. So yeah, root words. Endocardio is endocardium. Pericardio is pericardium. Thank you everybody in the chat for letting me know that. Thank you, Marsha. Rhymo is rhythm. Valvo is valve. And vasculo is vessel, or all the blood vessels is vasculo. That's why the vascular system, that's what it's called. Valve, as that we saw in the veins and arteries, where the blood has to move in one direction. That's why we have the valves in the vessels. Angio is the vessel or blood vessel. Vaso is also a vessel. Valvulo is a valve. Veno is a vein. And flebo is a vein too. So veno or vein is a vein, flebo is a vein, vaso is vessel. They are all one and the same, like, they just have different names or terminology for the same. So all five you see are nothing but blood vessels. Suffix ek is pertaining to gram. As you see here now, it's X-ray picture or a recording. Graph is an instrument that records. So we got the difference now, electrocardiogram and electrocardiograph. Gram is the picture, graph is the instrument. Remember that. Logist is a specialist who studies, and the logy is a study itself. And the next suffixes we have is megaly, which is the enlargement. Pathy is disease of. Plasty is a surgical repair. Itis, nobody wants to know this because we already know it. It's inflammation. And pexy is a surgical fixation. Now, what is the difference between plasty and pexy? For pexy, you see there is an X here and fixation has X here. So remember, pexy means fixation, whereas plasty is a surgical repair. So if pexy is fixation, then plasty is repair. I don't know how much different it could be, right? But yes, is without. Ectasis is dilation. Ectasis is dilation. And these are the suffixes, okay? They come towards the end. Oid is resembling, and oma is swelling or tumor. We're going to build some words. Angio, which is nothing but vessel. Plasty, angioplasty is a surgical repair of a blood vessel. Angio with ectasis is angiectasis, if I'm saying it right, dilation of the blood vessel. Angio with poiesis is angiopoiesis, which is formation of blood vessel. Poiesis is formation. Angio is blood vessel. Angiopoiesis is formation of blood vessels. So the words that we learned is angioplasty, which is the surgical repair of the blood vessel. Angiectasis is dilation of the blood vessel. Angiopoiesis is formation of the blood vessel. And then the next set of words that we're going to learn is vasculo with itis. Vasculitis is inflammation of the blood vessels. Then we have aorto with pathy is aortopathy, which is disease of the aorta. Then we have artero with ectomy is arterectomy is the removal of the artery. Arterectomy is removal of the artery. The words are inflammation of the blood vessels, which we learned, vasculitis. Disease of the aorta is aortopathy, and arterectomy is removal of an artery. And I'm about to show you something. So give me a moment here. And I have to remember to show the screen. Okay, here we go. Let's watch this a little bit. Well, um, I love this video so much. I watch it all the time, and it just amazes me. And yeah, someone in the chat said that it is amazing to see how this whole circulatory system works. And yeah, the human heart, it pumps blood through a closed system of blood vessels. And I think I have to show my screen once again. That's the thing, right? I'm challenged here for some reason. And the heart has four chambers, which we saw, and separates the deoxygenated blood, which is the blue blood. We saw that blue colored blood from the oxygenated one, which was the red. And we love to see that very much. The pericardium consists of two layers here. See, this is the pericardium, which is surrounding the earth, surrounding the heart. Um, Peri means all around it's a fibrous layer. It anchors the heart. It keeps the heart intact, and it generates the pericardial fluid to lubricate and minimize friction around the heart. So there is a fluid in between this, which actually, see this, between this, there's a fluid which helps from lubricating. There should not be any friction. And the layers of the heart, the epicardium, the layer itself has many layers itself, and it has the epicardium, the myocardium, which is uh, the composed of highly vascularized cardiac muscle tissue, and the endocardium, which is the innermost of the layer of the heart. Um, it is identical to the inner lining of the blood vessel. So there are three layers of this particular pericardium. And the circulatory system, it has two pumping system. We know that already now. One is going to the lungs and one is coming from the body, all over the body. The right side of the system deals with the deoxygenated blood. The right side is the right side of the person, okay? Not our right side, but the right side of the person. And the left side of the system deals with the oxygenated blood. Again, the side is of the person, not us. External anatomy of the heart. It has two atria, two ventricles. The veins bring the deoxygenated blood from the body, and the arteries carry blood away from the heart to the other part of the body. And the coronary artery is the heart's own blood supply. So the heart needs, because heart is also a living thing in the body, right? It needs its own blood supply, and so the arteries for the blood, for the heart itself, are called coronary arteries. So these are the arteries of the blood of the heart itself, which needs for the heart. And these are the arteries, the red ones, and the blue ones are called the veins. And the atria, the two atrias, yes, and the two ventricles. The atrias are on the top and the ventricles are in the bottom. The inside, okay, the chambers we know there are four chambers, and this big one is the aorta itself. This is the biggest artery of all, which carries the maximum amount for all the parts of the body. And we have the two ventricles here, the two atrium here, the left and the right. This is the posterior vena cava and the anterior vena cava. Anterior is like on the top here, posterior is on the side, down below. We have the pulmonary artery, which brings the blood from the lungs. Pulmonary vein. Uh, this is the left atrium and the anteroventricular. There's a valve here between the inside the atrium. There is a valve, and this is called atrioventricular valve. And there's a septum here, which is actually like a flap. Left ventricle down here, the right one is here, and this is our topmost vena cava, which brings the bad blood to the heart. So yeah, these are the different parts of the heart. And the right atrium, look at that. The right ventricle, the left atrium, the left ventricle. So you got the four things. Once again, this is the more intense or intricacy of the heart that you see here. Um, Just take a look. You really don't have to remember anything because we are learning the medical terminology. It's just a picture of how the blood and the heart works. Blood vessels, as we know, we have veins and arteries, and the capillaries where you see the exchange of blood happens, and it provides the pathway through which the blood is pumped throughout the body. And I like these pictures, so wonderful. This picture summarizes the cardiovascular system. The other day I was looking at a video where they actually had pulled the heart. It was the open heart surgery, and they had pulled the heart out on the table, and it were fixed with all those pipes of blood, of the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood. And I was surprised to see how they could pull out the heart from the body. And yeah, it is time for a shout out. Let's do it. This one is going to be for this particular chapter, Red Robin. How many of you like to say yum? I would like to know in the chat. You remember that, right? Red Robin. I like that little like sound. Yum. Yes. I like the sandwiches there. I had gone there only one time to eat. And now that I'm getting hungry, give me a moment. Let me see if I can show you something more. One moment here. Here we go. Let's do this one. Well, that was great. And yeah, I think some of you, I think one of the person had issue with the video. I'm not sure how many of you. Can anybody tell me, like, if anybody had a problem with the audio of the video? Okay, I think I just knew one person having it. Okay, everybody's saying yes. So yeah, nobody had it. So good. I think it's just one person. I'm not sure why. But yeah, please check your audio before And we are just about to finish this. I want to like quickly go over what I have here before we end this today's class. And as you know, blood vessel. Yeah, we learned a lot about blood vessel. Abnormalities are a component of a vascular headache, such as migraines and cluster of headaches. So sometimes people get headaches due to the abnormalities of the vascular system. We learned about the tunica intima and tunica media that we saw in the video, the innermost layer and the outermost layer. And this is all the different arteries of the head and the trunk. I really want you to take a screenshot of this picture, and you can go with it when you have a free time. Just go over this picture. If you can take a screenshot of it, that would be great. I'll leave it for a few more seconds so that you can take a screenshot of it. So the arteries of the head and trunk, the arteries of the upper limb, the arteries of the lower limb. So it is quite a good one for information. So please take a screenshot of this, and I'm quickly going to move on to the next screen. Again, this you can take a screenshot of this. It's arteries of the head and the neck. Look at that. It's so nicely labeled. So I like when the picture is labeled, so you know where exactly what it is there. And this is the arteries of the head and neck. Please take a screenshot of this and look at it at your free time. And that way you get a brief idea about it. You don't have to by heart anything because none of this is going to come in your exam. It's more of a medical terminology. Again, the arteries of the upper limb and the thorax. So the upper limb, upper part of the limb, and the thorax. So these are the labeling of the arteries. You can take a screenshot of this one as well. You can see the subclavian artery, which is on the shoulder, the axillary artery, which is the low upper part of the arm, and then we have the ulnar artery, the brachial artery, the radial artery, which is near to the lower side of the arm. And yeah, take a picture of this. And then again, arteries of the abdomen. Okay, look at the picture of that. Take a screenshot of this as well. If everybody is taking or not, let me know in the chat. Take a screenshot of this particular picture. Good. If you got it, great. Let's move on. Arteries of the pelvis and the leg. Take a screenshot of this as well. You can see the inferior vena cava, which goes to the heart, and all the arteries of the lower limb, yeah, the pelvis side and the leg. Take the screenshot of this. And how do we take a pulse? The average resting human heart rate is about 70 beats per minute for adult males and 75 for adult females. I'm not sure why it is more for the female. When feeling for the carotid pulse under the angle of the jaw, use very light pressure. So we can actually check here and look at your clock and see what's your heartbeat or the pulse. Blood vessels, capillaries. The smallest of blood vessels are capillaries, are the microscopic tubules where gas exchange takes place. Like in the video, they said that the capillaries are like the neighborhood roads. All the loading and unloading happens in the capillaries. All the good blood and the bad blood gets exchanged. All of your trillions of cells have access to capillaries to rid themselves of carbon dioxide and acquire oxygen. And yeah, this is some more here, the arteriole and venule. this is the capillary. The right in the middle is the capillary. Um, you can see that's where the exchange happens. The capillaries permeate all your body tissues. At their smallest, RBCs must move single file through them. If all of your blood vessels, including the capillaries, were laid end to end, they would stretch about, look at that, the amount of length they have, 75,000 miles. Oh my God. Or 3 times around the world. It's for me hard to believe that, but that's how much it is. Okay, so I'm about to give a Quizlet, or maybe not. I don't think so. We can even do a Quizlet. Um, I would say, do you guys want a Quizlet or you want to end this class? Just let me know in the chat. You want to do a Quizlet? It'll go over like 10 minutes. Do you want to do that or just want to end the class? Because since we combine two classes, like two yeah, someone some people are saying no, end the class. So that would be great. I think I would be ending the class because I don't want to keep you waiting because it's already too late. So yes, let me end the class. So give me one moment here before I end this. So give me a second. And always remember that your class here, it is every Wednesdays. Come back next week. We will have two big topics we'll be covering next Wednesday, and most likely it's the last class of the August session, and it's 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do Kahoot, Quizlet, and yes, we're going to be having a jam-packed class next week. And remember, we want your feedback. Definitely want to know how did the class go today. Why is the feedback very important? Because it helps AMCI deliver quality classes and it helps your instructor help you. And no feedback means no good. And I want to bring my team back again to say some few words to you before we end this class and say good night. Thank you all for coming. And yes, Miss Marsha and Miss Ida, please come in the order that I called you and say something for the chorus.
Good night, coders. Have a great evening. We'll see you back again next Wednesday. Have a good night.
Thank you, Miss Marsha. Good night.
Good night, coders. Yes, we'll see you next week with another great time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Ida. Thank you. Good night. And everybody, good night. See you all next class. We had a great time together. You were great at Kahoots and Quizlet. Thank you very much. Good night.
$4,000 exam passers and free classes at AMCI. Learn to code straight from home or on the road at AMCI. We're on the East Coast, the West Coast. We're all around the world. AMCI.